We begin tonight with breaking news. Former U.S. President and Nobel Peace Prize winner Jimmy Carter has passed away. Good evening and thanks for joining us for News Channel 9 at 11. I'm Maggie Weaver. At 100 years old, Carter was the oldest living former U.S. president ever. His wife, Rosalind, died last year in November. Now, Carter defeated incumbent Gerald Ford in the 1976 election to take the White House. He was not re-elected, but continued his dedication to public service and philanthropy. Now, the former president founded the Carter Center to advance human rights, building houses for Habitat for Humanity and assisting with hurricane relief. Carter received hospice care since February of 2023. Now, we're taking a live look at the White House this evening, where the flag has been lowered to half staff upon the news of the former president's passing. Now, former President Carter was known for his character, thanking the man that he just beat for the presidency, Gerald Ford, for his service to the country in Carter's inaugural speech in 1977.
For myself and for our nation, I want to thank my predecessor for all he has done to heal our land.
One of Carter's first acts as president was to declare unconditional amnesty for Vietnam War-era draft dodgers. He had a long friendship with President Joe Biden. Carter even asked Biden to be the one to give his eulogy when he passed. Tonight, Biden describing the late president as a remarkable leader and a dear friend.
America and the world, in my view, lost a remarkable leader. He was a statesman and humanitarian. And Jill and I lost a dear friend. I've been hanging out with Jimmy Carter for over 50 years, it dawned on me.
Biden spoke of his long history with Carter, reflecting on when he endorsed the late president's 1976 campaign. The president also recalled the support that Carter and his wife gave to him after his son Beau died of cancer. In an earlier statement, Biden said that he is ordering an official state funeral for the former president. Now, after Carter's defeat by Ronald Reagan in 1980, Carter accepted numerous diplomatic and humanitarian roles. Carter worked with global leaders on peace and human rights issues in the Korean Peninsula, the Middle East, and Africa. He helped with hurricane relief across numerous storms that hit the U.S. and founded the Carter Center to advance human rights. He and Rosalind volunteered to help build homes with Habitat for Humanity for more than 35 years, well into their senior years. Now, we spoke with one Chattanooga man last year who dropped everything to work on the Carter's campaign back in 1975. This photo right here on your screen shows Ken Hayes at age 22 as the assistant chief of protocol for the Carter White House. Hayes says that he remembers how different campaigns looked back in '76. He says that it was frugal. They slept in people's homes and even sold T-shirts to raise money for gas. Now, he traveled the world with the Carters, coordinating ceremonies and visits for kings, queens, prime ministers, and other presidents.
Helped strengthen relationships and bonds. I mean, as the campaign progressed, they said, well, remember when Jimmy Carter stopped here? Carters, they just continued, that humanitarian compassion efforts to do that. You didn't see Jimmy Carter getting $500,000 to go speak here and there. You saw him out building Habitat homes with Mrs. Carter.
The Carters were the longest married couple of any president ever, 77 years. Now, Hayes described Carter and his wife Rosalind as inseparable.
I think the Carters set the gold standard for a true, loving partnership in marriage. He was really worried that, that he was going to go first, and that Miss Carter was going to be left alone. And so I think that there probably is justice in that he's still with us.
That interview, of course, happening just after Rosalind's death last year. Now, Hayes told us that his time with the Carters inspired his love of public service. Now, Carter turned 100 years old on October 1st, making him the first U.S. president to reach the century mark. His hometown of Plains, Georgia, celebrated that milestone, one of the many homages across that small city to Carter. The Bidens even marked the occasion with a large 100 birthday sign in appreciation of Carter on the White House lawn. Now, in a joint statement, the Clintons write that Carter wrote, or that Carter, quote, lived to serve others until the very end. Now, they note that his commitments to civil rights and to protecting our natural resources while in office and his post-presidential efforts to advance peace, combat disease, and promote democracy. President Clinton presented former President Carter and the First Lady with the Medal of Freedom back in 1999. President-elect Donald Trump is also sending his condolences to the Carter family. In a post online, Trump said Carter did, quote, everything in his power to improve the lives of all Americans, adding that the challenges Carter faced as president came at a very pivotal time for the country. Carter's death comes less than just 30 days before Trump swears in for his second term in office. That does mean the American flag will fly half-staff on Inauguration Day. Now, Justin Berger with our sister station spoke with people about the legacy Carter leaves behind, describing the former president as kind and approachable, but also persistent.
Jimmy Carter will be remembered by many as a man from small-town Georgia who just wanted to give back. All you have to do is look at his work with Habitat for Humanity. Throughout his life, Carter helped build more than 4,000 homes with Habitat and inspired innumerable others.
Jimmy Carter did so much to bring attention to Habitat for Humanity. His reputation of being a very spiritual, very giving person who was concerned about social justice and human rights, and who also believed in hard work, it's beliefs that's like, it's American beliefs. You know, we could get behind that, and people could get behind that and say, I want to be involved in helping bring affordable and decent housing. And he really believed everybody deserved affordable and decent housing.
The Navy veteran, former Georgia state senator and governor, had a post-presidency that lasted more than 40 years. But News 13 political analyst Dr. Chris Cooper tells me it's his presidential legacy that remains a topic of conversation.
So for a long time, there was this view that it was really kind of a failed presidency, right? Just one term, obviously, very unpopular at the end. Some historians in recent years have been rethinking the Carter presidency and sort of showing that perhaps he did more than we give him credit for at the time, and particularly in terms of foreign policy. But that debate aside, there's no question that in terms of a post-presidency, ex-presidential life, Jimmy Carter's was among the most, if not the most impressive that we've seen.
Cooper says regardless of political party, this is a time to look back and reflect on where we were as a country during Carter's presidency and where we've been since. Reporting in Hendersonville, Justin Berger, News 13.
According to the Carter Center, there will be public observances held in Atlanta and in D.C. His family will then hold a private ceremony in his hometown. The final arrangements for Carter's state funeral are still pending, but the Carter Center is urging the public to visit the official tribute website, which includes an online condolence book commemorating the nation's 39th president.
Just last night, former President Jimmy Carter passed away. He served as the 39th President of the United States and was the oldest living former U.S. president in history.
After leaving office, he dedicated his life to philanthropy and humanitarian causes. News Channel 9's Fallon Howard joins us live in studio with more details on his life's work. Fallon, good morning.
Good morning, Dane and Hannah. That's right. The 39th President of the United States died last night and lived to be 100 years old. Now, he had many accomplishments over his life, including his humanitarian work, building houses for Habitat for Humanity. Now, he also regularly taught Sunday school classes in his home church, Maranatha Baptist Church in Plains, Georgia. Social media comments continue to pour in after hearing this news. And here's a quote from President Biden: "To all of the young people in this nation and for anyone in search of what it means to live a life of purpose and meaning, the good life, study Jimmy Carter, a man of principle, faith, and humility," end quote. Now, we will continue to share more social media comments from key leaders across the world as they continue to come in. Reporting live for Good Morning Chattanooga, Dane Hannah, back to you.
Fallon, thank you very much. We know his wife Rosalind died last year. Carter received hospice care since February of 2023.
Comments now pouring in on social media again to the news of Carter's passing. Taking a look at just a few of the comments on our Facebook. Charles Wells commenting, quote, "Prayers for his family and friends and all the people who loved him. God bless you all," end quote.
Moving now to a comment by Bill Langer. He says, quote, "I never agreed with his politics, but he was a decent and honorable man, a true gentleman," end quote. And finally, a comment by Elijah Elliott. He says, quote, "Greatest president we ever had," end quote.